As we all know, the Seattle Seahawks' newest quarterback is actually a former 49ers quarterback, Sam Darnold, who was a backup just a few seasons ago behind Brock Purdy. And we know he signed that big deal with Seattle. He'll be their quarterback, what seems to be for the next 3 seasons. And in his intro press conference, he actually gave some credit to Brock Purdy for helping him unlock his game that we saw him kind of take to the Vikings and really just kind of explode a little bit. I mean, shout out to Sam. He had a great season last year. Listen to what he said and see how he credited Brock with helping kind of transform the way he looks at playing quarterback. Take a listen right here.
Okay, and I really, thank Brock a ton, Brock Purdy, for, just his style of play and how he kind of described his style is like, we got a ton of great playmakers on offense. Like, my job is just to play point guard and get the ball in their hands and let them go do great things with the rock. And when I started to change my thought process as a quarterback to kind of just getting the ball in my guys' hands, then that's kind of where it unlocked for me a little bit.
So I think this is pretty cool. And this isn't really the first time we've heard this. We've heard that Sam has mentioned before that he really learned a lot from Brock, which again continues to emphasize how kind of crazy that is, considering I believe Brock was either freshly 24 or 23 at that time. And Sam Darnold was on his third team in the NFL and had kind of been in the league for a while. And the fact that he goes to the 49ers, sits behind Brock, and Brock kind of is able to shed some light on just how to view things, right? Sometimes a shift in perception is all you need in order to unlock certain things that you can do, whether within yourself or in your confidence. And for Sam Darnold, it was just realizing you don't have to be and always play hero ball, right? Like, I think that is where Sam found himself getting into a lot of trouble, is just doing way too much and then compounding that stress and then just that turning into anxiety and then him just not being confident. Like, you have to be confident as a quarterback. You just have to, you're going to make mistakes, but you have to know that. And you have to be able to understand that it's not the end all be all in that scenario. So I really do think that it's pretty cool that one, Sam took the opportunity to say that. And again, just goes to show like Brock is a very mentally advanced quarterback. He's going to get knocked all the time for his physical attributes. And one of the things that I always mention with Brock and why he's such a great quarterback are the intangible elements, the things that we don't see necessarily on the field. I spoke to Gerald McCoy at the Super Bowl and we were talking about Brock Purdy. And he said something to me. He was like, I used to think Brock was just riding shotgun in a Bugatti. He was just along for the ride. And then he said it wasn't until I had a conversation with Trent Williams where Trent really told me like how Brock is in the huddle and how he processes these plays and the offense and how he does it at such an extremely high level that allows the 49ers offense to be successful. And Gerald McCoy is like, yeah, so it kind of changed my perception of Brock Purdy because I thought he was a game manager along for the ride. The whole thing and the narrative that everyone seems to like talk about Brock with. And he's like, it having that after having that conversation with Trent, it really kind of opened up my eyes that clearly there's a lot more to Brock than what we see from the physical aspect. He's a great leader. He's a guy that is, again, I've talked about this. Last year I had the opportunity to go to his camp at Levi's Stadium, and I got the opportunity to interview him one on one. And when interviewing him and just like listening to him talk, like, you can catch a vibe from people. Like, I'm just like, the whole time that he's talking, I'm just like, how are you 24 years old? I'm 35. I'm like, you feel like you're older than me. It's like this guy is like so secure with himself, knows exactly who he is. And at 24, that's rare to come across people like that, especially in today's kind of world. I think the world is kind of designed to kind of confuse you, distract you, make you question yourself. There's a lot of information, so to be able to be so sound, I think is pretty cool. And so I think, while I don't believe Brock is the most physically gifted quarterback in the league, I think he has some of the best intangibles in the league. And guess what? You have to be intangible. You have to have good intangibles to be a good quarterback in the league. It just comes with the territory. You could be as physically gifted as possible, aka Sam Darnold, but if you don't see it the right way, and if you don't know how to process it the right way, you don't know how to handle it, and you don't know how to maintain your confidence, it doesn't matter how physically gifted you are. And so, yes, there are elements where, of course, we want to see Brock get better at certain things when it comes to throwing the football. The things that I think of are like deep ball accuracy. I think that's one place, an area where he can still improve. Um, but Brock knows how to win, and he knows how to win. And the fact that he's been able to show that so early on in his career is what gives me the hope that Brock will only continue to improve. Like, we are entering the prime years of Brock. Like, we haven't even gotten to the prime. Like, he's still in the young buck category, like still learning category of like from 2 to 25. 25 to like 28, 29, 30. I mean, even for quarterbacks now, I think the prime extends probably to like 32, 33, depending on who you are, sometimes even further. But he's entering the prime of his career. And so that's why, from that standpoint, uh, I do like Brock, and, hope that the 49ers can get something done, because at a certain point, I just don't know what else they would do it if not. Is it going to be Mac Jones? Like, would you really like Mac Jones? Is a less athletic version of Brock Purdy, who doesn't necessarily have the intangible elements or qualities like Brock has. Um, I think that's, that was one of the knocks on Mac Jones, was his kind of maturity, where he didn't really have it, and kind of the opposite of what Brock was in that sense. So I don't know. I Something tells me Mac Jones is going to learn a thing or two from Brock Purdy as well. So going to be an interesting scenario. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.